The real reason I wasn't on the Super Bowl is because I'm not a safe artist. You don't know what game gonna do when you get up there. So it's just like he not safe. So they went with the safe artist.
How did you feel about that?
I feel like this. The Super Bowl is in LA, right? It's a Dr. Dre Super Bowl, but it is Jay-Z. But Jay-Z understands the dynamics of West Coast hip hop very well, right? And I don't think Jay-Z would have had a problem if Dre would have said, we bring in game on the Super Bowl. Number one, outside of myself, I also think that YG should have been on the Super Bowl. If it was a New York Super Bowl, you might have saw Jay-Z. You might have saw Nas. You might have saw Mary J. and 5EO Foreign and Alicia Keys. You might have saw anybody, because we on the West Coast are the only that have this crab in the barrel mentality where we want to keep down or don't do things based on what somebody else might think it looks like. Snoop Dogg was there because Snoop Dogg is safe and he a legend. It's like Snoop. My grandmother knows Snoop, and so do my children. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Snoop is an icon. Dre is an icon. M is an icon, but M is not from LA. 50 is not from LA, and I'm not taking away from the fact that they were on the Super Bowl, but LA have been on a Detroit Super Bowl or a New York Super Bowl. It just wouldn't have happened. The Rams was in the Super Bowl, bro. LA, all around the Super Bowl, and I don't get the call. So
how did you feel?
I was hurt by that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was hurt.
Thank you, gang.
Hey, yo, and let me.
What up, y'all? It's Coffee. Tapping back in with another one, y'all. A few news topics, and y'all see this, man. The game opening up and showing he does indeed feel some kind of way about the whole Super Bowl situation, which we all knew this, right? We all knew this was a fact. And to be quite honest, right, we know he's trying to do every and anything he can to get some momentum and buzz behind this Drillmatic album, which I guess the release date got pushed back a little bit. I don't know. This is make or break for the game, as I keep putting out there. It really, really is. I repeat myself a lot in these videos, you know what I'm saying? But with these different topics, I want everyone to fully understand, you know, because some people tap in for some videos, don't for other ones. New people show up, like the algorithm gods do Coffee all kinds of different ways. It's wild. But I wouldn't be surprised if this Eminem situation, you know, other than the fact, again, that he's just kind of tried to keep the buzz around his name, he's probably hot about it with the Super Bowl as well, you know. He was a part of that whole shady Aftermath, G-Unit, Interscope team, and, you know, he was up out of there pretty quick, moved over to Geffen, you know, when Dre, I guess we could say, kind of sided with 50 Cent more or less, you know. Reportedly, word has always been that behind the scenes, they wanted the whole beef between Fifth and Game to stop, as we saw the press conference early on, but it just wasn't going to happen, you know. This is going to kind of sound out there, like, I don't want to say going to go over a lot of people's heads, but a wrestling reference here, okay? You know, for those who tap in on the regular, you guys know I'm a big fan of pro wrestling. What's good, Jay Millie? Ahmed Johnson and Farooq, Ron Simmons. Ahmed Johnson was a dude that was quickly up out of the WWE, you know, blew the fuck up, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. At one point, they moved him over with the heel turn to the Nation of Domination, and behind the scenes, Farooq, Mark Henry, The Rock, but then Rocky Maivia, or just kind of transitioning into the Rock character, the Godfather, Kamal Mustafa, whatever you want to refer to him as. They were like, we got to get this guy out of here. You know, he just rubbed people the wrong way. You know, I was a huge fan of him, but looking back, seeing all the interviews and everything in the blogosphere nowadays, he just didn't get along with people. And that's kind of how it is with the game. 50 Cent being an egomaniac at the same time. Things just didn't work out. But originally, the discussions were kind of like, yo, Game's trying to go viral, always taking shots at Jay-Z over the years. He shot himself in the foot in the long run, because here we are nowadays, Jay-Z, huge. The whole Rock Nation empire, the whole situation he's got going with the inspired change in the NFL and all that. And when it came to the Super Bowl, he wasn't going to let Game go. But Game went on in this same interview over here at the I Am Athlete podcast, which I didn't know. What's that guy's name? Swaggy P or whatever? The dude that just got aired out at No Jumper. I guess he's a part of this podcast, or at least was on this episode with Brandon Marshall. So dope to see Brandon Marshall doing all this with this platform, you know what I mean? But Game went on to elaborate. I didn't include that part in this video and say, you know, Snoop didn't do him any kind of way. Jay didn't do him any kind of way. He's flat out blaming it on Dr. Dre. And then we, you know, look at those other comments he made. Another part of this big Drillmatic viral campaign. You know, Kanye did more for me than Dr. Dre did, which we know that's not true. He did more for me in 2 weeks than Dre did forever. We know that. And it's not true. But it's making sense now. He's in his feelings. And listen, a lot of people... I'm not even just speaking of the game when I say this. Hit the comments, y'all. Let me know if you guys can relate to this in your own life. Maybe we've done it at some time, certain points in our own life, or maybe not. But some people just can't admit when they're wrong. Sometimes down the road, you look back and say, I fucked up. But some people never believe they're wrong. You know, they just can't take that, moral inventory and really dive in and take an honest look at themselves. And what I mean when I'm saying that is the game says the game's not a safe artist. You know, Snoop, my grandma knows him, which, I always say that. That's the way I always refer to Snoop, how big he is as an icon, that people who have no clue about hip hop know who Snoop is. Not saying the game got that from me, obviously, but I just kind of found that rather humorous that I'm like, man, that's always my line. Eminem. A safe artist? Kinda. I mean, right? I don't know. What do y'all think? I mean, that's a whole nother discussion. But basically, he's saying all these artists are safe and the game's not safe. Because when you get Game up there, you don't know what you're going to get. Kind of almost sound, I believe he said, unpredictable. But at the same time, you could kind of look at that and, you know, say, man, that kind of sounds like how some people have referred to the game as bipolar, and I'm not knocking anyone who is bipolar. It's not a shot at a mentalsickness, right? Some people got them, some don't. If you do, you just got to do the best you can to live a good life. Try to keep yourself in check. Try to keep your emotions in check. Think before you do things. You know what I mean? Not even just referring to the bipolar-ish. Just in general, you know, if like sometimes you can't control your emotions, you got to learn from your mistakes and try your best to control them. And basically, that's what I'm saying. What do you guys think? Is that a cop-out or a way that you think the game looks at things to try to justify himself, that he doesn't really want to admit that he's wrong, where he says, yeah, I'm not a safe artist like them? Or is that other side of the coin kind of like, well, man, this is some of the stuff we've heard from other artists who a lot of times don't even try to take shots at the game and go in deep and talk about it. They try to, you know, keep it respectful. But there has been some discussions that's kind of leaked out that are like, yo, the game is just impossible to work with. You know, he flips on you. You never know what you're going to get. He's totally inconsistent. If he's having a bad day, he'll take it out on other motherfuckers. If he's really feeling some kind of way, he won't keep it a buck. He'll just act all different kinds of ways. And at the end of the day, you know, it burned a lot of bridges and relationships for him in the game. Like he mentioned Snoop, that he talked to Snoop, and Snoop said, nah, nephew, if it was me and you, if it was my Super Bowl, of course you would have been on. Game and Snoop were really, really close early on in the Game's career. Snoop still fucks with him, but there's been certain situations where, you know, you could tell Snoop was like, Dre, again, this guy, like, you know, is credited with discovering the game. We know in a sense, not necessarily true, but played a big part in the Game's career, you know, and same thing with 50 Cent. Game was sitting on the shelf with Aftermath, Interscope, all the way back. Guys, he's on the Shady Records Invasion mixtape. You know what I'm talking about? That Eminem joint that had the Benzino disses and all that. Game's got a track on there to the Eric Sermon React beat. And he was rapping with a total different voice, total different type of MC. He repackaged himself kind of like a WWE career, like we was just talking about. You know what I mean? But he was on the shelf. They didn't know what they were going to do with him. There were talks of him even possibly getting dropped from the label. They decided to put him, as the fifth element of G-Unit. Y'all remember G-Unit Radio Part 8, being that they already had Banks, Yayo, and Fifth, Southside Jamaica, Queens. They got Buck from down south, Cashville, Tennessee, and Game being that fifth element from the West Coast. That totally saved the Game's career. I mean, maybe he would have went on, got dropped from that deal and went somewhere else and did his thing, or maybe not, But instead of being thankful, we saw down the road when the 50 Cent beef happened, Ish went sideways, Ish got crazy, and ultimately at the end of the day, he was moved over to Geffen. Dre moved on from him. That's why that second album, The Advocate, no Dr. Dre production. Still a dope album. Game's still a dope artist. But the fact of the matter is we're seeing here, all these years later, the way the Game harbors a lot of this ish inside him. And y'all know the whole saying, right? Holding resentment in is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get hurt. And we know his whole relationship with Whack 100 and everything, the underhanded, friendly extortion tactics going on. It's just fucked up to see the way the Game's career went. You know what I mean? Hell, even all those Black Wall Street, Money Gang, Blood Money, ENT artists that he's had, things pretty much went bad with most of those artists. Not all of them, but a lot of them. But I'm talking in circles a bit. Tap in and comment, guys. Let me know what you think about all this. Did you know at the end of the day originally that the Game 100% did feel some kind of way about being left out of the Super Bowl? I mean, he did have a good point as well, though, with it having a West Coast theme, the majority of the artists being from the West Coast, Game not being a part of it. YG also could have been as well with the Rams in the Super Bowl. We know YG, big Rams fan, interacts with the team a lot. We see him, on the gram going ham and all that, you know what I mean? So that was a good point. But comment, let me know if you guys agree, if you think, the Game did burn those bridges. Do you guys think the Game's emotions, the way he conducts himself, ultimately has hurt the relationships he's had in the industry and whatnot? Tap in, comment. Some people may look at it like, oh, I'm not safe and I'm not PG, so they can't fuck with me. But the other side of the coin again is a lot of people don't like to fuck with someone that they just never know what they're going to get. Are they going to lash out at you, or are they going to want to be your best friend, cry and reminisce on memories? It's wild. Oh, yeah, and real quick before I move on, those who tap in on the regular already know. Again, I got to kind of repeat a lot of things, for transparency and all that. But Jay Coffee Talk, again, not a square, internet guy, family man, nerd. I'm a snitch. I want no smoke, all that, right? You fuck with me, I'm going to the police. And with that being said, I'm tapping in on some street ish. I'm just curious, as we know, a lot of this gang culture and ish like that, is spoke on the internet and crosses over into the entertainment world. And I'm just curious to know, is that, one thing that Game said there, that kind of ties into gang lingo and whatnot that could be considered disrespectful. You guys know what I'm saying? That one word he said there. Do you think cats from the West Coast will see that and feel some kind of way? Or do you think that people will just say, in the context Game's using it, it's no big deal? I'm purely curious. Tap in. Let me know, y'all. A quick update, y'all. Tapping back into the MILK74 situation. Real quick, I just wanted to give an update here. You guys know everything that's been going on recently. Milk kind of buried a couple of his adversaries in the blogosphere, had some big videos, had a big sub jump, went over that 100K mark. All this ish has been going on. I've done quite a few videos on it where people have been alleging that MILK74 bought his subs and all that. And, there's a lot of fluckery going on. Again, you got to watch the videos that I've done. It's been a series of videos, but for the most part, my point of view, getting down to the bottom of things, taking in all the info, trying to bust it down, it seems like there is an underhanded campaign going on behind the scenes to kind of try to sabotage Milk. You know, we saw Whack 100 kind of accidentally expose himself on the gram for sending Milk fake followers. And in my last video, like I was showing y'all with the subs, there's seems to be the same ish going on YouTube, and there's flat out people in the comments saying this to Milk, you know, they're trying to let Milk know, like, oh, we're gonna keep sending all this unorganic bot activity to your page, you know what I mean, and make the algorithm gods, make the system, the YT system, think that you're on some funny style ish, and ultimately fluck up his success. You know, that's been my bottom line. Again, I did like 3-4 videos on it. I'm not going to rehash everything I said in those videos, but more or less, you know, originally things did look kind of crazy the way Milk subs jumped up, but my feeling ended up being like, you know what, I don't think he is doing this. I think there's some sabotage ish going on behind the scenes, you know, and we've seen his sub count go down because of YouTube trying to weed out the unorganic activity. It is what it is. That's what they do. Again, we saw this with 6ix9ine and other artists in the past, and Milk actually pointed that out to Whack 100 and all that. And it's wild now though. You know, originally we saw him jump up to like $110, then he went down to like 102. I was like, oh, okay. Well, now with all this ish going on, it's jumped all the way down to 89K. Okay, now y'all know I got a small platform, but I've stated in the past, like I've had times, and I'm sure other content creators, big or small, can attest to this. Like I've had videos that went crazy viral. You know what I'm saying? 90,000 views, crazy viral for me. 90,000 views, 100,000 views or whatever, and I might jump up 1,500 subs. But then all of a sudden it's 1,200 subs. Like the system isn't always right. But there's some flummery going on here with them trying to sabotage Milk, is my opinion. And we saw Milk actually comment and say, "Coffee, you think I have to buy subs?" And I just said, yo, I said it in the videos. I personally don't think he did. You know, it's a series of videos. Originally, Ish was looking kind of crazy. I was one of the first to congratulate MILK74 for hitting that 100,000 subscriber mark. And, you know, immediately individuals let me know, yo, Coffee, word is he bought those. Like that narrative came out very quick. And, you know, with the narrative happening so quickly and all the different adversaries he has after ending one of his adversaries, is just kind of wild. You know, to see all this going down. But I don't think MILK74 is going to let it get to him. But I just kind of wanted to speak on it because it was kind of wild to see Milk ask me this. I was like, yo, does he think Coffee's dissing him? You know, listen, at the end of the day, I don't think Milk gives a fluck about what Coffee says. But for those who watch the channel, I just tap in on all the different content, different ish, you know, I watch, whether it be hip-hop, music, sports, current events, whatever. And, you know, for those who watch have probably noticed, when it comes to MILK74, me just being an internet nerd who takes in all this content, I've always kind of understood why a lot of people, like, get mad at Milk, the way he goes about doing things. But from an entertainment standpoint of what he's doing on YouTube, I think he's killing the game and is very successful. And I've shared that I'm a fan of his content among many others, right? But this is a wild situation. So I just kind of wanted to speak on it a little more as I saw MILK74 put that. I was like, yo, does he think Coffee's dissing him? And all this ish, you know, the bottom line was, this is a very complicated situation. Comment, let me know what you guys think. We got one more topic to tap into, and this is a real quick update, man, about Stein Island. This is wild, y'all. I could not believe this, right? We know things have fallen apart over there on Stein Island, and a big part of that, actually, just talking about MILK74, we know he was the one that really got the movement to get rid of the wickedness started on this platform. And, you know, things have went down all fucked up over there on Stein Island for him. He's hurting. And now the IRS done come and took all his ish is all fucked up, right? And recently we just saw someone in the blogosphere who was supporting him for the longest time. Billy Joel voice talking about, yo, I was around. All those Wicket allegations were lies. That's not how it went. Now actually has just came out just over the past week or so and said, I lied for this dude and it killed my blogosphere career. I could have been making a living off this ish, but for supporting the Wicket one, it fucked that guy up. And, you know, he says the Wicket one never even reached out and showed him no support or proved to him that he was really telling the truth about the Wicket ish, which we all knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? We all know he copped out or whatever and everything. And he was on that pure Wicket evil-ish. But what do y'all think about that guy stepping away from him? You know what I'm saying? Do you guys think he's Wicket too, forever siding with him? You know, do you guys think he's just mad that it hurt his career or what? I want to know about that. But that's not the update here. The real update is that if y'all see on a recent live stream, this motherfucker, as there was always, we always knew he was out there not fucking with that white girl, fucking with that white broad, the Breaking Bad. He accidentally recorded himself doing that white broad. Can y'all believe that? And he had a real crazy look on his face too. Like he, you know, like that white broad was kicking in and he was just ready to get extra turned up on that deviant-ish. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. But that concludes the news with Jay Coffee Talk. Let me know what y'all think about all these stories. Once again, thank you for tuning in live from Witness Protection. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, hit them buttons. Daily videos, music, news, sports, current events, life, and much more. And I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.